know where the treats at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you made it here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We about to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfield.
This episode of Chief Concerns is brought to you by BetOnline.AG. BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from NFL playoffs to pro and college basketball, UFC, MMA, and much more. You'll always find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. With live betting options, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. BetOnline is truly the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your rewards. BetOnline.AG, where the game starts. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Chief Concerns. I'm Marcus Dash here with our host, legendary tight end, Jason Dunn. JD, how we doing, buddy?
What's up, man? You know, I had to tell you this, man. I love when you say legendary tight end Jason Dunn. I love that. I feel like a legend. I do. I feel like a legend sometimes, man. You know,
You are.
Oh, now I appreciate it, man. You do some of the greatest introductions with that, but everything's going good. Everything's going good. We in the season of the off season and combine work. Guys getting talked up. What direction are the Chiefs going to go? This is what the offseason is all about. So speculation, right? Rumors and talks and rumors of rumors and all those different things. So I don't know. I'm here for all of it, man. I think we're going to have a good offseason. It's going to be really, really interesting to see what the direction the Chiefs will go, not just with free agency, but also in the draft. So I'm all here for it, man. I'm ready. I'm ready. What about yourself? How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I like we said last week. We love the offseason talk because there's so many. It's like it's one of those things, right? You hear rumors, and we can bring it to life with our conversations about how would this guy fit in our offense? What would it look like? Whereas during the regular season, that's it. That is our roster. That we're playing that team the following week. That's it. All season we can kind of talk about these things and like last week we had the Saquon, us being top 5 and betting odds to get Saquon. I had so many people were like, why are you guys talking about this? I'm like, well, we're talking about it because Vegas has us on the top 5 odds. We didn't make the odds. We're not the odds makers.
Right. Hey, shoot. Yeah, don't get mad at us. You know, it's speculation and talk out here. But yeah, man, it's going to be that. We know it's going to be every week. It's going to be something else new coming up. Who, the Chiefs and talk with this guy. So we've known that Veach has been very, how would you say,
frugal
for sure, no doubt about that. Unpredictable is the word I was looking for, right? Yeah. So he's definitely those two things, unpredictable and frugal, and I don't see why he would not continue to be in who he is, right? I don't think. Hey, it's been working. It's been successful. So yeah, man, I think it's off season kind of gives that. I'm also noticing something too, man. Off season. Are you growing a beard? You doing the beard thing, man? Let it go. Huh?
I usually shave on the days of our show, and today I didn't shave.
Hey, look.
I was hoping you weren't going to notice.
Oh, hey, look, it looks good. I think, hey, man. Matter of fact, I hear you sound like your voice a little bit deeper. You said that like, we're going to shave. So
I'm hitting puberty at almost 30. So there you go. Nah, it's too patchy. I bicked it maybe a few times, and about a month ago was my nephew's wedding, and I bicked my neck area. Oh man, it was bad. Like I had razor burn on my neck. Luckily, the collar covering it, but it was bad, man. I haven't I've trimmed the neck, but I don't know if I'm ever gonna Bic again. To be quite honest with you.
Yeah, Bics, man. You never know what you're gonna get with them. And it's if I do it, it's only in an emergency. If I didn't bring maybe some clippers or something to kind of get it down, or if I'm going to the barbershop to kind of get the trim up together, it's the last resort. But it's like, daggone, you got to pay for it, right?
Yeah.
It's just coarser hair, curlier hair. That's what you got to deal with. So
yeah. It's rough, but yeah, I'm surprised you noticed that I didn't. It's not even that. I don't know. I don't get that. I don't get that much, so I'm surprised you noticed it. Really.
Yeah, man. Hey, it looked like it looked like some wisdom right there. Just coming out, hard. I'm like, shit. Hey, Marcus, we might have to sign you going on to the Chiefs.
Hey, and my flag football season starts in 3 weeks. There's gonna be new tape out on me, so we need a backup now. So there's potential there.
There we go. There we go. Well, that's what I love to hear.
All right, so JD talked about speculation and rumors, and obviously combine season. So we're gonna get into a little bit of the combine stuff later on the show. But first, we're gonna begin with some speculation and rumors. Speculation. So we have Peter King from NBC Sports, as well as Daniel Jeremiah from NFL Network. They both have said some stuff this week that got a lot of attention. So we'll start off with Peter King. So Peter King said with the Rams looking to move Jalen Ramsey, he thinks the Chiefs should be a potential suitor, and it would likely probably cost our first-round pick. And Rams, I think I read online that Rams haven't had a first-round pick since 2016, so they really like a first-round draft pick. But thing is, he's owed $17 million this coming season, and then there's an out following next year's season. Saying the Chiefs should go after him. The reasons he cited is last year we didn't create a lot of turnovers as far as in the secondary. We end the season we came on in the playoffs. We had quite a few, but yeah, so that was the reason why he went with that. That was pretty much his only reason. And then Daniel Jeremiah had one that got a lot of response. And this, with how good this DB draft class is and how good we were last year, and pretty much in Veach's entire tenure of drafting these late round gems with DBs, would it be a smart thing to trade L'Jarius Sneed? Next year, he's a free agent, probably demand about $20 million open market a year. But he said trade L'Jarius Sneed, get some more assets. Then with those assets, you can draft more young DBs and develop them like we have with Charvarius Ward and L'Jarius Sneed. So where do you stand on both of these potential ideas, JD?
Oh, well, hey, I don't know. The whole, I like Peter King. I do. I think Peter is a very balanced guy. I really love listening to Peter, actually. I don't know. He's saying that Jalen Ramsey might be a suitor for the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know. Look, let me put it this way. We knew it was going to be rocky, okay, at the beginning of the season with these young guys. We knew that, okay? But we wanted them to develop. And so develop they did toward the end of the season. They started getting better. They started playing as a unit. They started playing, becoming a little bit more experienced, seeing all the best receivers in the game. And that's what they saw. They saw all the guys in the league that are the best of the best, okay? And so when you see that, you throw them into the fire early, okay? Then you start molding them into the guys that you want them to be. And so Spags done that with the defense. They have another offseason to kind of get better, learn a little bit more, look over film, talk with each other, getting closer together. And I think with this secondary, because they were so young, they're learning together, right? They're getting better together. And so that's what you wanted to be able to do. A guy like Jalen Ramsey, who is a talented guy. We know, he's talented. He's a talented corner. But we watched him get burnt too last year. Okay, so it's not like he's coming over and you're getting a lockdown corner like Dion, right? I'm not taking anything from Jalen Ramsey. He's a very, very talented guy. Takes a lot of chances. He's a good talent. But I think our money can be used elsewhere, right? And you said the same thing like with L'Jarius Sneed. That might be a possibility, to unload him on somebody in a trade to get some draft picks. And so we know with the young guys we had last year with Cook, Watson, Williams, all those guys were stellar. They played exceptionally well toward the end of the season. Like I said, and so if you're looking to maybe hit, and these guys all hit, they were kind of mid to the range picks. They all hit. if you get guys like that this year, which I've heard and you've said this to me, kind of reiterated that there's a lot of talent coming out in this draft with corners. Hey, who's to say you can't get another young guy to come in and buy in, right? And they could help him, pretty much, assimilate. Like, hey, look, we had to learn the same thing about what we needed to do. We kind of help you to get faster into this because what we had to learn as young DBs. And we got Najee Johnson, one of our guys, okay, that's still going to compete, try to get out there. So there's talent. We got talent in this secondary. No doubt about it. I don't think we need to go out there and get a big name like Jalen Ramsey to bolster our defense. I just don't think we could use that elsewhere. That's where I look at it.
Yeah, and to your point, this isn't the Jalen Ramsey from 3 years ago. I mean, obviously, especially cornerback. When you get older in that position, it's tough. It's tough to play in this league. And like you said, you got burnt quite a bit last year. But yeah, 17 million just this year alone. That's if we keep him past next year. If we were to do that trade, but like we talked about, Stephon Diggs at the Super Bowl, the Radio Row said that these rookies aren't rookies anymore. By this point in time, these guys aren't rookies anymore. And another thing too, talking about upward trajectory. It'd be one thing if our rookies came out and looked like good in the beginning of the season, they kind of like tailed off. Yeah. They only got better as the season went along, and like that's one thing. It's like with this group going into next year's or sophomore season in the NFL, it's like they're really like, and all of them are kind of growing together. It's like, I think the sky's the limit for all these guys, especially Josh Williams, Jalen Watson, obviously McDuffie, first round pick. He's a blue chip guy. But the other guys we found later on in the draft, it's like sky's the limit.
I didn't even say McDuffie. Sure. And that's what I'm just saying, that we got DBs all over the place. Yeah. We have guys, like you said, who are just getting better together. And so I don't know, bringing a guy like Ramsey in will disrupt any of that. I don't know. But to me, if this young group who all understand, and they all gone through pretty much the same thing, it's growing pains, right? And like you said, it was just getting better and getting better. I mean, I think to me that's so promising when you're looking at it in the future. And so as long as every guy, and I think guys are just bought in because Spags and what he's demanding for these guys to do, I think they understand it. I think they realize exactly what's being asked of them, and they're up to the task. No doubt about it. So maybe a guy like this coming in may send a bad message to these guys. You know what I mean? We got to think about that too. Psychologically, it's like, well, wait a minute, hold on. We get, he's good, but hey, look, we got better too, coach. We here to compete as well. And so guys might take that, man, and look at it as a slight, but, I understand it, NFL. But also, too, man, you got to give the confidence. I know Spag has confidence in these young guys. And I think you got to stay there with it. But like I said, I think our money should go in different areas, different places to do different things. And if you get a DB in the draft to kind of, get to support the guys that you have, shoot, go that route.
What do you make of Daniel Jeremiah saying that he thinks the Chiefs should maybe consider trading L'Jarius Sneed? L'Jarius Sneed's a guy, Swiss Army knife, who's one of our probably. I think last we had a question on the show, who's the best player at midseason point of the season. I think you said L'Jarius Sneed was, or on defensively, but like free agent next year, $20 million a year. We did just draft a crap ton of DBs. McDuffie looks like he could play. I mean, he can play all over the field too because he's such a sure tackler. He can play corner. He can play in the slot. He can play all over the place. Something that Sneed has done. What do you think of that? Especially, he's going to demand a lot of money when he's a free agent next year. So it's like, what do we do? Do we capitalize on that right now and trade like we did with Tyreek Hill, knowing that was coming up in the future?
Well, it's tough. It is tough. But I think what you have to do, you got to think about the future and the balance of it, right? What are you trying to achieve? And as good as Sneed has been, sometimes what you end up doing is you outprice yourself in particular teams. And sometimes, look, hey, if the grass is green on the other side for you, hey, by all means, go and get that money. Go get it. Hey, if you can get it, go get it. And the Chiefs might be like, man, this is business. You might just want to go a different direction. Hey, we wish you nothing but the best. We wish you nothing but the best. But I just know there might be that it could be the position of where they're at. I get it. I'm sure he gets it too. And so when you're going through these negotiations, you got to understand what all is on the table as far as negotiation. And the thing is, you can't, man, that's the hardest thing to do is remove yourself emotionally from, being at a team and then having to go somewhere else, right? That's hard. I mean, we had to do it with Tyron. We had to do it with Tyreek. And so when you see these guys that you didn't think, well, God, like it cutthroat. Well, yeah, it's the business. It's what it is. But if guys can go down the road and get money and make another team better, shoot, why not? Why not be that guy? And so it's not really a slight to him. If anything, that's just proving his worth, right? I mean, if you go out there and get $19, $20 million, 22 that you're asking for, shoot, go get it. Proud of you, right? Once a chief, you always be a chief. So,
and they won a ring here too. So like that.
Yeah.
He'll always be cemented in the Chiefs' history.
And look, I'm not selling him off right now. I'm not saying that right now. I'm not okay. I'm not saying goodbye to Sneed and all right now. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying these things are possibilities. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
and look, a 4th round draft pick, he's still playing on that contract. I mean, he's gonna cash in on something big, whether it's with us or someplace else. He's gonna get paid.
And he should.
Yeah.
Okay. You put it that way. And he should, right? So it's like Ward went out. Okay. Same thing. Hey, we get it. We understand it. Okay. He's got to be able to take care of his family, his interests, for the long haul. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. So Chiefs going to look at their interests. He's got to look after his.
Yeah, and I think where Jeremiah is getting this from, obviously Sneed's a free agent next year, but look, he got hurt for one of the first plays that Cincinnati game, and we didn't miss a beat defensively. We're younger and cheaper on that side of the ball with the rookies we have. It's like, okay, well, we didn't really miss a beat. We could probably bring in somebody else. May not be as good as L'Jarius Sneed, but we have the guys we have on that side of the ball, and we didn't miss a beat against one of the best receiving corps in the NFL. So it's like I do see that. I mean, I do see where Jeremiah's thinking there.
Hey, listen. Learned this a long time ago. Every day that you're in the NFL, they're trying to replace you. Okay. They're trying to find somebody comparable to you so they don't have to pay you that money. That's the business. Okay. That's the sucky part of the business, but it is business, all the none, so there it is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the unfortunate side of the business. But at the end of the day, if you think about it this way, the guy's going to get paid, and hey, that's generation changing money right there for his entire family. So
no doubt, man. Sure.
Okay, so next question is something that I've been thinking about. I've been kind of simmering on it since we won the Super Bowl, and just it kind of occurred to me how fast things are happening. Like we literally just won like 2 weeks ago, and then we have Combine right now. So it's like, wow, we're really jumping into the and then the free agency starts in 2 weeks. So it's like, wow, we're really jumping into the season. And going to 5 straight AFC Championship games is something we should be celebrated. We should be happy about that. But there's one thing that,
sorry, have you noticed that everybody was trying to move away from the Super Bowl? It's like, okay, you won. Go ahead and move on. Like, no, wait a minute, hold on. I still got these balloons up. All right. I still want to celebrate. I'm going everywhere I'm going to wear my Kansas City cap. People are tired of it. I'm like, man, we are still in celebration mode. Yeah, but go ahead with your question.
I'm still rocking my new merchandise. Burrowhead my ass.
Yeah, there it is. I never see that. Oh, good. That's nice. I love it.
But and I remember during the Warriors from like 2016 or 2015 to 2019, I remember there was an article, and I remember hearing an interview with some of the guys talking about how like they had something called Dynasty Fatigue, and it's playing long into the summers, way after the season's over, when everyone else has been at home for months. The teams that did make the playoffs have been at home for months, and some teams have been at home for weeks. Yeah. And like we, from 2018 to 2022, we played a total of 14 games in the playoffs alone. So that's 14 extra weeks we played going deep into the playoffs, which is a great thing. That's obviously what every NFL player plays for. It's the dream to play deep into January, play in February. And that's the dream. It's like I compare that to high school when you're playing on Thanksgiving. That's a good thing. You should be celebrated by that. But my question to you is that something that like can take a toll on players' bodies, playing for so long, for so many years consecutively, playing into February, where everyone's at home, kind of recovering, and maybe even starting some of their off-season programs and stuff while we're playing And, we're coming into the combine where like we literally just finished our season, whereas some guys been at home for months.
Yeah. No, look, I think that's a real thing. I could definitely see that, especially if a guy maybe got nicked up during the season, and you're talking about maybe an injury lingers a little bit longer than what you expected it to, so it's the same thing like rehab. You don't quite get on to rehab. You're not quite recovering like you want to. But I say basketball and football is a little different. Okay. I know, the Warriors, basketball, they can pick up a game anywhere. They'll go, 5-on-5 at the local YMCA, right? So, I mean, to them, and they will. They're like, sure, we're going to hoop. Let's go out and get it in real quick. And so part of their fatigue is, they want to keep themselves fresh, and them being just basketball players, man, they're gonna make sure they keep working on their craft. They're going to try the new guy that's out there. I don't know, anybody in the NFL world is picking up a whole football game, right? Yeah, you just ain't doing 22 on 22. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to happen. So I think that's why it's different. But I will say this. Off season is a time that you're supposed to rest. Okay. You're supposed to have the time off. You're supposed to get away from it, get away from, like you said, the fatigue and just going through it all, the whole mental side of it, which absolutely directly messes with the physical. I remember Tom Brady he was making a point a couple, maybe years ago, maybe a year ago. He was just talking about how guys should just skip the all season. That's what he was saying. And so there's a validity in what he was saying, because here's a guy that would skip the all season workouts with Belichick and those guys, got down there in Tampa Bay, did the same thing, but he had his own routine. And he felt like his routine was a little bit better suited for what he needed during the all season than what he felt like the facility was going to be able to provide. Now, that's great for him, but for guys that are young, I think they need that. They need that to kind of earn their stripes, to get to the point of understanding how their body operates. And so when you kind of got a finger and a pulse on a guy, don't let him get too far away, then that's a good thing, especially a young guy, because all about it is it's like teaching and learning how to become a professional football player, right? And so all of that is, hey, look, this is what the dedication needs to be. And so until a guy gets into a routine, it's actually earn those stripes, get a personal trainer, knows where to go work at a workout facility. I think younger guys, they definitely need that work. A veteran guy, maybe not so much. And so that fatigue definitely exists. Guys do necessarily feel it. I'm a big believer that guys need to get away from the facility as long as they can. Voluntary workouts, that's another thing. Voluntary workouts are voluntary. Don't come to a veteran guy, hey, coach, voluntary workout, but I need for you to be here. Okay, I'll make my presence felt, but you're going to watch me put this cap on during practice. How about that? Let these young guys go out there, these rookies and first and second year guys go out there and let them compete. Let them get better. So I think these things are all good, man. You got to explore it. We know that recovery is one of those things that is paramount, especially for guys that are physically demanding sport. You have to do it. So,
yep. So I will say, we talk about basketball players playing pickup throughout the year and stuff, and a lot of them, they do tournaments with each other and stuff. Have you ever heard of any skill players playing like flag football in the off season, like in leagues and stuff?
No, man. And you better not. Look, if you're making X amount of money and you went out there flag football playing, somebody better go and grab you off the field immediately. You know what I mean? Seriously, man. You just put everything in jeopardy. Ain't no sense doing that. None whatsoever. So if you say, oh, yeah, man, I played in a flag football game today. Hey, I'll be there in 2 hours. Come get you. Don't you ever do that again. Yeah, because it'll mess up your money. If something happens, no, I ain't going to do that. But I have never heard a guy like that. No, I haven't.
Yeah, and I guess that's why, like even when I remember Mahomes was playing, or Veach saw Mahomes playing basketball a couple years ago, I remember he was upset by that. He told me he never wanted to play any kind of pickup basketball or in the offseason ever again, just for the chance these guys could get hurt doing that.
Yeah, shoot. If you do it, you got to play with somebody who, Patrick's playing against somebody who's 8 years old. That's fine. Grown man, they're going to try to be like, oh, yeah, I got Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to try to show him what I'm going to do. Next thing you know, he done twisted his ankle. So I get that. Shoot around in the gym, have somebody, go ahead and lag the balls for you. Other than that, stay away from the whole pickups. Just don't do it. Too much money going. Too much money at stake. Too much money at stake right now.
Not worth it. Stick to golf, and that's it.
Yeah. Now look, I'm gonna say this. So when I was playing, we had a basketball rim and goal at the facilities. So guys would go up there after working out and go, get a game in. And the thing was, because all of us are like ex-basketball players, we still want to show that we got it.
True.
So I remember this funny story real quick. So we go up and we're playing 21. Okay. We're playing 21. Everybody's kind of, 50%, 75, right? You get a couple guys and you get around them. Well, ball goes up, ball comes off the rim. Tony Gonzalez comes in over everybody, try to jam. And everybody's like, oh, okay. Let's see we see where this is going. So I see everybody get down, lacing their shoes up. Like, so we gonna act silly right now, huh? This is what we gonna do. And so the game just went to a high level after that point, and it took somebody to bring it out of it because everybody had to understand it, right? You shoot on somebody, play good defense, couple defense, let them shoot, check, self-check. But as soon as Tony came in like that, man, tried to jump over about 5, 6 players, try to dunk, and he missed it. Everybody's like, oh, okay. All right. Start spatting up, you know what I mean? So everything changed.
Pull up the shorts, playing up close Ron Artest defense.
Okay. Yeah, doing that. Shoot, stop putting on the icy hot, battle freeze. Yeah, like, okay, yeah. This ain't gonna happen. So
the thing with like playing with other professional athletes, obviously you guys you played basketball, you guys, not all of you, but most of you guys have played, you guys have hand-eye coordination. You guys can play sports. Whereas like it's like playing pickup in a gym with randoms, like let's say Mahomes went to like LA Fitness and started playing in the basketball court. You don't know what kind of guys are out there. You have guys who have no spatial awareness, like throwing elbows by accident, not even doing it purposely, just stuff like that. Right. Whereas if you're playing with other athletes, you guys, everyone kind of knows, what they're doing out there. It's, you're not going to intentionally hurt someone or unintentionally hurt someone.
It just, these things do happen. So unless he got, Orlando Brown Jr. out there running picks for him, it's like, don't even think about it. If you think about getting him, I'm a hard check you. But yeah, you don't want Pat doing that. You don't.
Pat and Orlando should go play pickleball or play tennis. Doubles tennis together. Doubles tennis would be good for them too, actually.
Doubles tennis. Yeah. Right.
And we know Orlando likes tennis.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when I looked at that, obviously we know playing deep into the playoffs every year, but like the fact that we played 14 games over the last 5 years, that's in the playoffs. That's the whole season.
Yeah, it is. But like you said, man, it's it's a product of you being successful. Yeah. But so, like I said, that off season, go ahead and take that time off. But teams should be able to, adjust, right? So if I'm tailor-made everything for a team that went deep into the playoffs, they should know that. They should be them to know, okay, look, we got to do things a little bit different because we're a different team. Our success is a little bit different from everybody else's. And so the time that we start and what things we do is going to be at a different time. And I'm pretty sure teams understand that. I'm sure they got a good grasp of, those things happening.
Yeah, and by now, and that's one thing. The Warriors did it. From what were the numbers at 2015 to 2019? They knew at a certain point like what the routine should be because they've done it so much. And us, I'm sure with these young guys, I'm sure a lot of vets were telling them what how to kind of ease back into things again. Yeah. Like we kind of have the routine down by now, doing this for 5 years now. So
right, yeah. So I think it's big. It's big. It's big for the older guys to talk to the young guys on how to do it. Like, hey, man, look, pay your dues. Sometimes you just got workout bonuses that's already into your contract, right? Just to keep guys around. So some guys are like, look, man, if I need to use, I don't know, however much, $50,000, $100,000, take care of my body, I'm at a better space physically, mentally, emotionally about these things. So I've seen guys blow off the workout bonus. Like, nah, man, I'm good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, shoot.
Workout bonus. What was that? Just attending weightlifting sessions, or what is that?
Yeah. So sometimes in your workout bonus, just how you structure it, you could say like you're gonna do 50% of the workouts possibly during the off season, 75, maybe more money. But guys kind of So guys do it for two reasons. One, just money in the off season for one. All right. But number two, just keeping yourself accountable. Okay. So you don't necessarily get away and just, sitting down and not doing anything. And so they're saying, like, look, if I kind of force myself to work out, or at least where I have a facility, everything I need there. If I live in the city too, that's another thing. If guys are living in the city, why not just go in, go work out. You ain't got to be in every single day. Do three days out of the week, however you want to make it, So, but it's easier to kind of doing it that way when you tailor it your way. But I hate teams that sometimes what you'll find out is these new guys, these new coaches, start bringing this stuff. Well, I need for you to be here and demand that, that, like, okay, look, I've been playing for, a guy, I've been playing for 10 years. Ain't no way I'm coming in here and running around with these rookies, the same way. I've been playing for 10 years. I got my routine, my TB12 with Tom Brady and my guys I work with. It's been successful. Like, I'm at tip-top shape. If I come in and I'm not that way, now you have an argument, right? So
is that usually done to weed out the veteran players from new coaching staffs and regimes?
I wouldn't say weeding it out. It could possibly be used as weeding a guy out. Say, you're not dedicated. If you're not going to be around here, you're looking for a new contract, whatever. We're looking for this young guy. If the young guy is more dedicated than you, hey, let him put the time in. We don't know where you're at. We don't know what you've been doing. It's almost the same thing. Remember, everybody was talking about Hardman. Well, where's Hardman at? What is he doing? He's getting anything done, and everybody's calling him lazy, and nobody's know what he's doing. He's out probably working out at different facilities. Mm-hmm. He has his own routine. So we can be critical of guy, but we don't quite know, right? We don't quite know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the bottom line. Fans will say things, but we don't really know. So,
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so combine. So we talked about the speculation stuff. Now we have the combine. And combine, it's funny. I feel like in the past when the Chiefs weren't so good, I used to be stuck and glued to the combine, like all this stuff. When we had a top 10 or top 15 pick, I wanted to see what was going on with the combine. Now it's like, okay, I'll catch some of it. And also probably looking at the middle tier type guys. The second or third rounds, the picks we kind of stockpiling. The ones we've kind of hit on at least. But what I want to ask you, JD, with the combine being here, and you got a lot of guys who are going to try to put themselves on the radars, and move themselves up on draft boards. Based on the Chiefs' needs, and as we watch the combine this weekend, what do you think are the three position groups that fans should be keeping an eye on when they watch the combine this weekend?
Three position groups that fans should be keeping an eye on. Okay. So it's pretty much kind of the same for me. I've talked about our needs. Our top needs for me, as I assess it, is defensive line. Okay. It can be defensive tackle, defensive end is another one. Pass rush guy is another thing that we need. And maybe the third, and we're still speculating, maybe another wide receiver. Okay. So I would say those three more so than anything else. So you got two guys on defense, one on offense, kind of keeping your eye on. That's the pulse that I'm kind of looking at. That's I'm saying I need more than anything else, because then we know this offseason what we're looking at. Who's not going to be here, who may not be here as wide receiver in that position. And so if you get a guy kind of in a high draft pick, kind of guy that could come in and start right now to compete right now, that may be a guy that you need. But he's got to be almost a no-miss guy. If you get him, you got to make sure he's a no-miss kind of dude.
Yeah, and one thing I read that they said a lot of teams are going to try to they're going to try to come in with those to get that 31st pick, the last pick of the first round, because they can potentially get that fifth-year option on whatever it is. Let's say a team wants to trade back and get a quarterback at the end of that round. We might get multiple seconds, maybe an extra second, an extra third. Then we kind of can stockpile those middle tier picks. And with obviously DT, I agree with you. I think DT, edge rush, and I want to. I guess
I know where you're going. I already know where you're going. Now I thought about this, but go ahead.
I'm gonna go tight end for my third one.
Okay. I didn't know where you were going.
Where do you think I was going?
Thought you was gonna go O-line, tackle.
Yeah, I'm assuming based on the reports, I'm assuming we're gonna sign his long-term deal. I don't know. That's what I'm assuming. But yeah, the tackle will probably be. I mean, it would be right up there. 'Cause, I mean, I think if we don't, let's say we do, give the tag or sign him Orlando Brown for a long-term deal, still need that right tackle spot to be figured out. So.
You need a guy, and if you get multiple, picks, hey, it wouldn't be a bad pick. The two guys we talked about, Ohio State, those guys can come in and definitely play. You could develop those guys.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just kind of bad thinking. But tight end, hey, shoot, I'm not opposed to that. I wouldn't personally. There's some good tight ends, okay. And what I'm gonna do, man? Look, I'm gonna give my guys some love, okay. Guys that I coach. You see us right here, NFL Collegiate Bowl, right? I know everybody was talking about my man. This is the nephew of. Why can't I think of his name right now?
The tight end?
Yes. He just ran a 4.5. Who your brother was talking about?
The dude from Oregon State.
Yes. Yeah, right. And I was just like, oh, okay. He ain't the first round pick to me. All right. Yeah, he runs fast.
Musgrave.
So that's Bill's, nephew. I like Bill. Bill's, great guy.
Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's Musgrave's his nephew. If I'm not mistaken, it's his nephew. So he's got that whole understanding of how the NFL works. I'm sure learning from his uncle. But I mean, he can run a 4.5. The thing is, I'm looking at his longevity. I don't like how many games he's missed over the years and I don't know about the durability. That's a big red flag. It's a big red flag for any team. I'm just gonna be honest here. This is my evaluation because I've worked the combine before and I know exactly how guys are being evaluated. And so teams if you're gonna take a chance on it, know what you're taking a chance on. Okay. This guy's over getting hurt in college is gonna, get into the NFL. And this is no disparaging thing against him. I'm just saying how they base it. But look, I had 6 guys that I worked with out there that could come in on any team, the Chiefs, and be that guy. So I had Ben Sims, okay. I had Jaleel Billingsley, okay, that was at Alabama, went to Texas. Ben was at Baylor. I have Brady Russell, played at Colorado. Brady was recording more of the H-back. He can kind of do it all. I love his style because he can block. All these guys can block. Shoot, Noah Grindorf, he's another guy. North Dakota, incredible. Big guy, do it all. Michael Zeke, played at UCLA. Michael, athletic, catch the football, will block, put his nose in there. Cal Patterson, Air Force. These guys, when I'm telling you, like stellar guys that I know when I'm sitting there and I'm watching them, I told them, y'all guys have the ability to play on an NFL football team. Period. I know that. And I'm looking at them. I know their mindset, just kind of talking to them, getting them ready, see where they was at. And so, it's a process. It's a tedious process from when you get finished with college to, getting drafted. I think a couple of guys at the combine. But tight end wise, these guys right here, they can absolutely play. I would love to have any of these guys on the Chiefs. Believe me. They got my stamp of approval. They do. So we can bring up a whole lot of different names, but like I said, I gotta give my guys some love, man. They were incredible dudes, incredible guys. Just to be around, talk to them, had a ball, had a blast with them.
And also, you can tell, obviously some of these guys are names to us, right? And we just look at their stats and paper. You can obviously feel the love and some of what the teams are doing at the combine, right? We're interviewing these guys and having face to face with these guys. They can tell. I think I watched, who was it? It was Hugh Jackson a couple of years ago talking about how he could tell within the first 10 to 15 seconds of a play how much a player loves the game by his first 10 to 15 seconds. It's kind of like a job interview, really.
It is.
They can, obviously you know about that stuff, but with coaches, but yeah, you can place a story behind the guys you got to coach. And the one guy it said Billingsley from Texas.
Yeah.
He's one that's I've seen. He's been flying off draft boards and stuff. They have him as a I think anywhere from a 3rd to 5th round pick, as far as I've seen experts have it. But
Well, I mean, Jaleel he can run any route, catch any football. You know, smart kid, understands the game. You know, and he's a baller. He'll make plays. That's the thing about it. He can make plays. He's a guy like, you know, how we kind of, he was kind of wide receiver transitioned into a tight end. But he loves the spacing, man. Like he's just not matchup nightmare. All these guys are every single one of them, you know. And the thing is, I kind of tested them. I wanted to see what they can do. I wanted to see how they can transition to the NFL, running different routes. And so, you know, all those guys did a tremendous job. Every single one of them. So, you know, I wish them all, but the best. But these guys, every single one of them, can play in the NFL. But like you said, you know, if guys are hungry or ready to get into the NFL, that whole week I evaluated tons of guys, offensive line, D-line, linebackers. You're watching them in the game. You're seeing what they can do, how they move, how they respond, you know, to things maybe not going right or, you know, going great for them. And so that's big. That's huge for a team. So, yeah, because some guys, when you go into this part of your journey, what you got to remove yourself, you got to keep your confidence, but make sure it's not, you know, your ego's the way, you know, because you start thinking like, oh man, look, I'm the best. Like, look, you start getting into the NFL, you got to realize these guys are better than you. They've already been there. And I told him, man, when you sit there talking about taking food off a guy's table, that's a serious business. You know, like Pacheco was talking about, I'm gonna take a grown man's job. Well, shoot, you better back it up when you're talking about it, because that's what you're gonna have to do, right? That's what you're gonna have to do. So, I mean, he came in, he toiling away. He did it. Took some favor. I mean, you know, things happen situationally, but
yeah, I mean, hey, we saw what he did with Ronald Jones. We moved Ronald Jones to the inactive list.
yeah. Shoot, hey, you make a guy non-existent.
But so you had DT, DN, and receiver. The reason why I had tight end over receivers, because I mean, obviously everyone's talking about the Travis Kelce succession plan. Obviously, to have the guy come in, and from based on what I've read, this tight end class, I feel like they say this every year. Oh, this tight end class is the best. Like, every year, whatever position class is the best we've seen. I remember last year they talked about how the edge rush class is probably one of the deepest we've seen in such a long time. That's exactly what I'm hearing this year about this one too. So it's like, I don't know, but tight ends, they say it's a deeper class than the receiver class. There's more top end talent with the tight end class than there is with kind of receiver. Like, yeah, there's gonna be teams that are obviously gonna, you know, they're gonna draft a receiver, maybe overdraft a receiver just to have one in the first 2 rounds. But like 2 years ago's draft class, those guys would be 3rd or 4th round guys. Whereas, like, you know, this year, a lot of these guys are gonna be, you know, teams are gonna be pressured to draft in some of these guys because they need to fill a need. Whereas tight ends, like you mentioned, alone with the guys you coached, on top of the other guys that everyone's raving about between the Notre Dame, Michael Meyer, Dalton Kincaid from Utah,
Incredible guy.
Musgrave, Tucker Crafts. Tucker Crafts, another one too. The North Dakota State or South Dakota State, the Jackrabbits, whichever school that is.
Yeah, so yeah,
I forget which Dakota that is, but yeah, that people are raving about all these guys. Even the Iowa guy, Laporta, Iowa, they have a long line of successful tight ends coming out of that. So that's like a tight end factory.
Yeah, look, the reality is, Travis Kelce is a 1 in a million talent.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a Hall of Fame tight end. Okay, you hitting a guy, you get a guy like him, you just no replacing him. Just not, right? You're just hoping the guy produces half of what he's been able to do. Okay, so that's the reality of it. That's the reality. And so any of those guys are able to come in, because it's just not just, it's the rapport he has with Patrick. Right? That's what you try to establish that. That's, man, when you're talking about that's your guy, that is your guy. And so hopefully this is down the road. You don't have to worry about, you know, down the road for these things. But hey, you got to get prepared, because you never know, right?
I mean, let's say, so okay, Kelce is getting up there, but you say you have 3 to 5 years with him, right?
Yes.
3 to 5 years of Kelce, you know, being top at his position, which I think he has potential of doing that. He's had knock on wood, he's had no major injuries of anything. He's pretty healthy. He's pretty much his entire career. Let's say you draft, let's say we move up, or one of these top guys falls to us, 31st pick. You have that 5th-year option with this guy with his first-round pick. So you have 5 years of pretty much. It takes us to the potential end of Kelce's career 5 years from now, and that's that what I don't even know that how will that make Kelce 5 years from now. That's let's see.
So, well, I'll say this, okay. So I wouldn't bank on a guy like it now. You don't know what he's going to be able to do. Shoot, I would maybe even look at free agency for a guy, possibly coming here that knows the business or what all he needs to do. Kind of got that, a little bit a good understanding about how to get open, finding holes, finding windows. That's a different guy than the guy coming out of college. Okay. And the reason I say that, and obviously you're going to, in the argument with my man down there with the Falcons, okay, he hadn't transcended to the guy that you was expecting to be, right? Injuries, obviously the quarterbacks are very, very important. Is it going to be a different guy somewhere else? Maybe, possibly. Ingram is a guy like, he gets down to Jacksonville. He looked like a different guy, okay? He wasn't that guy up in New York where they wanted him to be. Didn't quite pan out that way. Get to Jacksonville, different guy. But a guy like that, like I said, you could get maybe a dude like that in free agency, younger guy, possibly, a little bit later. But I wouldn't bank on a guy, tight end, coming in right now to say, okay, he's an heir apparent to Travis Kelce, right? Noah Gray will fit that. He's fitting that mold already. That's how I look at it. Yeah, you get another guy to support that, no doubt. You could do that. But high pick, I wouldn't. That's just me.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, unless, we really love, Dolan Kincaid's the one everyone talks about right now as it's pretty much the top tight ends in the draft class are Kincaid and Meyer based on all the experts, and everyone's saying they're going to go top 15 type thing. If, for whatever reason, we are in love with one of these guys, if we do that, you have the 5-year plan, and pretty much they overlap with each other. You have Kelce kind of teaching him the ways, whatever. But you're right. You can't just make it Travis Kelce.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Hey. Oh yeah, he looks good. Move on. Appreciate it. Yeah, no, you didn't want it. Nope. We got a bigger fish to fry right now. So
to that point, I mean, tight end, receiver, those I think we say top 3, but at least for me, the tight ends, it goes DT, DN, and then tight end. I mean, it's not even close. The third one on there.
Yeah.
And I think as far as receiver goes, I think we have a lot of Sky Moore, Tony. We don't know what's going to happen with Justin Ross. I think we have a lot of younger guys already in the room right now. Yes. I think it's bringing the veteran presence in with those guys that I think that will probably happen in the offseason. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah.
I don't know. Hey, that'd be good. Shit. Oops, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I would. I would like, hey, I would definitely consider that move, more than others, And then we talk about Robert Woods. I like Robert Woods. I like how that whole thing works with him. If he's not going to be a whole lot of money. So.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely. Oh, okay. Well, so I just did a D-Hop. I want to pull up what they're saying as far as what they're looking for to trade for him.
Yeah.
So they're looking for a second or some type of mid round pick package. So what is it? A second, maybe a fifth or a third and something. But Benjamin Albright, Denver writer, he said Kansas City is the team to watch for DeAndre Hopkins. That was today. So
really, okay, yeah. What's it cost? I mean, that's what if you're looking at it. I mean, if that's what he's shoot. I think Diop would want to come and win a ring. Great atmosphere for him to come play it. Wonderful atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
So being in Houston and Arizona, man, come to a championship team. Come on over here. They'll love it.
I mean, it just kind of goes to everything we've talked about. And the reports are that Juju wants about $15 million a year. MVS, if we keep him on the roster, about $13 million a year. So that's $28 million between two guys who they had their shining spots last year. But D-Hop, you could put any quarterback with him. And look at his Houston Texans days, even before Watson got there. I mean, he had he had some tough times before Watson got there, but like, I think Hopkins is one of the elite talents that you only see in the NFL very, very little. And to have him on our squad, I mean, for 2 years, 34 million, 17 a year.
Oh.
And that's the thing, you're comparing 17 million a year to Hopkins talent, but Juju wants $15 million a year. It's like, Juju's good, but he's not Hopkins.
Oh man. I mean, like I said, he could throw the ball anywhere. Both of them, like, he's unorthodox in his running and catching and shoot. So Pat would love to have a guy like that to throw to, right?
It'd be fun. Yeah. The one thing I've seen from some fans is said it's like, I don't want Pat to have to go into the thing like have to go into what he was with Tyreek, where if Kelce wasn't open, he was only looking at only looking at Hill. If we have Hopkins comes over here, he's only going to stare down Hopkins and he'll go back to Kelce. It's like, I mean, I think he's grown a lot. I think this year really made him grow a lot, having to throw to all these guys, Justin Watson, Marcus Kemp, and the AFC Championship game. I think that's the last thing that's going to happen if D-Hop comes here.
Oh yeah, and to be honest with you, I think that's one of those things that you have to, explain. Like, look, here's the thing: we spread the ball around. You are a number one receiver. We need a number one receiver. Okay, we need a number one. We don't have a number one receiver. He's the number one guy, no doubt, a receiver. So you still the number one receiver. You're gonna get majority of the balls being thrown to you. Kelce, these other guys around here they cut too. That's just how it is. That's the way it works. So don't expect, because we don't have to feed it to you like they did in Houston and Arizona, where they didn't really feed it to him like that in Arizona, I don't think either. But in Houston, they had to feed it to him. Shoot, there was no choice. So, but that was he got to display his talent. He got to display that. So why wouldn't you want that on the team? Come on.
I'm looking at his 2014. So 2014 was his second year in the league. 76 catches, 1,200 yards, 6 touchdowns. He had Brian Fitzpatrick as his main quarterback that year for 12 games. Fitzpatrick was a solid veteran quarterback, not Patrick Mahomes. 2015, 111 catches, 1,500 yards, 11 touchdowns. I'm looking at guys like Tom Savage, Brian Hoyer, Ryan Mallett, TJ Yates. Those were his quarterbacks that year.
Gee, wow.
I mean, those numbers he put up were like what Gonzalez was doing when we had, we had the kind of tough time with the different quarterbacks every year, like kind of QB carousel.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. That's, a guy's that good when it doesn't matter who's throwing the ball, he'll put up numbers. And that's a special thing to do, because a lot of guys are so reliant on that.
Right.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, if something comes up with this Hopkins thing, obviously it takes away a receiver from, I think, something to draft. And then you could probably see us going for like a veteran to fill up another spot, maybe like a 1 year kind of incentive deal to go with Hopkins because, we're going to lose Hardman. Hardman's probably going to get paid a lot of money. Juju's probably going to 15 million he wants. And then Justin Watson, we could probably come back. I can see him coming back for something small. But yeah, a lot of spots to fill in that receiver room. So the fact that there is some kind of noise with Hopkins, man, that's exciting.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm on board. I'm all for it.
Okay, so last topic, talk about free agency and guys. We talked about Hardman, we talked about Juju. Another guy who's been on kind of a lot of people are saying one of the biggest dominoes to fall for the Chiefs this offseason is starting with the future of Frank Clark, who's due over $28 million in 2023. If he's cut, we will save around $21 million. So it's a big deal. A lot of money. At the Combine on Tuesday, Brett Veach seemed like the Chiefs could get a deal done with Clark that would keep both sides happy. And the quote, he said, we'll probably, to a certain extent, need some cap space. We have a long history with Frank and his agent, too. He'll be one of the many conversations we have this week, and look forward to getting with him and seeing if we can work something out that makes sense for both parties. End quote. JD, you played in the NFL for a very long time. GM speak probably better than most of us do. But what do you think this means, what Brett Veach is saying, and what do you think the Chiefs should do?
GM speak right there. That is, we got a number in our head, and if he's not close to it, goodbye. So that's what that means. And you've been around? Yes, he has. Everything he stated was true. Okay. We know Frank Clark, been around. We're going to try to get something that works for both of us. They got a number in their head. Frank and his base got a number in their head. Okay. If they fall apart on any of that, deuces. That's what that means. That's what that means. That's my speculation of it. Okay. It's supposed to sound good. Right? You just got finished. Look, we just got finished winning the Super Bowl. All right, hey. We ain't gonna be the doom. Hey, yeah, absolutely. We're gonna look for his contract and try to sign, and he'd be happy, and he's happy. Love him to death. Love Frank to death. It's the NFL, man. This is business. So that's the reality. That's how they're gonna look at it. That's how Frank and them are gonna look at it. Numbers. It's a numbers game. Pure and simple. And so if they can save money because they're looking like, okay, in the future, how does this help our team? Taking Frank Clark, keeping his contract, how does it help us get better, right? How does it help us go back to the Super Bowl? His production. Does it warrant him getting paid this? His presence. Does it warrant getting paid this? And so all those things got to come into account. Pure and simple.
So what do you think the Chiefs are going to do? And what would you do? Let's say you're Brett Veach. What do you do? I'm putting you in the Brett Veach baseball cap on.
Brett Veach, hey, listen, we're going to look at the numbers. The number works well for the Chiefs based off what he's been able, his production, what he's been doing. And he's willing to sign this deal for this. Cool. I'm all for it. If he's not, then we could just move on. We just have to, Shoot, love him to death. Love Frank. I think we came back, man, with the energy, reinvigorated with what he wanted to do with his career, changed into like a different guy, had a different energy about himself, right? Shoot, it was what was needed. That was needed from him. So I'm Brett Veach. That's what I'm gonna do. Hey, Frank, look, man, we love you to death. You know that. You've been here, your family. That's how we're going to treat you. But this is what we're looking at. We're looking at this for the future. This is where our number is. And so we got to base it off productions. We love you. We ain't taking nothing away from you, but this is our business side, how we looking at it. That's what we got to look at. We got to look at our interests, and you got to look at yours. So that's what I would do. So does that mean that I would get rid of Frank Clark? Only if the numbers don't work. Numbers don't work. Hey, man.
28 million is a lot. So I'm looking at last year.
I'm not doing 28 million. Not doing it. Not doing 28 million. I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing that number. I'm not seeing 20 million.
Yeah. Sorry. Man. So last year he did that restructure back in March of 2022. So March 18th, 2022. So right around free agency, with the beginning of it. Clark agreed to a contract restructure that cleared more than $12.6 million in cap space. Clark's base salary drops from $19 million to just $3.725 million. That's a pay cut of more than $15 million. So he did do a lot for us last year. That's a lot. Gosh, to do that 2 years in a row, that's tough for a player to do. I can't see that happening.
Oh, listen, hey, it's tough, but this is the business. What ends up happening, what happens is the more money you make, the more expensive you become. That's it, period. That's what happens. And so you can price yourself out of the market because it's like you become too expensive. If you're not in our future plans, then you're just not. Love him to death. He done everything he needed to do to get himself back, going through the medical issues and things of that nature, off the field, all those different things. And he bounced back from that. He needs to be commended for that. For what he gave the team last year. Bravo, needed to be commended for that. Yeah, but I know GMs have breached Brett Veach is, right? Talking about frugality. Okay. This is the deal.
Yeah, if he were to restructure to do some kind of incentive-based thing, the way Dunlap's contract was. Because what was it? It was 1 year, $8 million, but it was incentive-based to get to $8 million, and I think it was like 4 guaranteed or something like that.
I think they're probably looking for something more along those lines, right? Because what was Dunlap's number compared to Frank? So I don't even know at the moment. Can you?
That's why I was thinking that. So Dunlap had last year. I'm just looking at sacks. I mean, gosh, man, it's almost identical. Dunlap had 14 assisted tackles, 4 sacks, 39 combined tackles and assisted tackles. Frank Clark's stats. This is no way this is the same. Oh my gosh. 39 combined, also tackles and assisted, 14 assisted as well, and 5 sacks. So he only had 1 more sack. This is regular season. Yeah. Only 1 more sack than Dunlap. That's pretty crazy. And Dunlap had that incentive-based deal.
Yeah. That's where the conversation is. Yeah, you're not spending $20 million for guys getting 5 sacks a year. Just not. That, to me, it doesn't rhyme right. Doesn't. Shoot. Just doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, and also like, gosh, because it'd be great to that'd be not one less Sneed, because I still think we still need to go after an edge in the draft, but being able to keep him on some kind of incentive-based deal, if you were to restructure that and to make it more of an incentive-based Dunlap type deal, I'd be happy with having Frank Clark in the locker room. I mean, he's been there for both Super Bowls, and so it's like it'd be great to have him there. You got the veteran presence, and then you also add another young guy, and you have Clark as kind of the mentor vet that he was for Karlaftis this year. So like,
you try look as a guy in the league, you're trying to hit the league over the head as much as possible, as fast as possible, when you can. Mm-hmm. That's how it is. Okay. And so do we know, as far as his earning power is behind him now from where he was getting to 20? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Unless he just be able to revamp it to come up like now, all of a sudden you got to get 16 sacks. You got that in you? Shoot, you got that in you, then shoot, we got more money for you.
Yeah, I think that's the cool thing about doing an incentive-based deal. Obviously, it's better to have the guaranteed money. But I think if a guy does think they have it still, but he wants to stay with the team, you make an incentive-based deal and you think you still have it, you can maximize that entire incentivized deal. But man, he hasn't. I mean, since his breakout season since his 13 sack season with Seattle, that was the year we traded for him. His highest sack total was 8 tackles. And obviously, there's more to the edge rushers game than just sacks, but just looking at sacks, 8, 6, 4.5, 5. That's what he's done with us. So it's like it's pretty much gone like this. A little bit of an uptick this year, but
hey, man, I don't think you can justify that. Validate getting that type of money.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't see it. I don't see it. So, shoot, if we can get out there and get that money from somewhere else, man, go do it. I'm all for guys getting paid. 100%. Shoot, get what you can get and hit them over the head as much as you can get, Frank. That's how I look at it. So if you need to put the pressure on Veach, then do it. Do it. Okay. I hope y'all find a good deal. But I just don't see Veach and them, giving up somewhere close to that, especially off the production.
Yeah, it's just you don't see that happen that often where a player restructures to that extent every year. I mean, to restructure that much, he did with $12.5 million last year. To do that again, you're asking him to do something like that. We're talking in the 20s, possibly going maybe 19 million or 20 million. Oof, man, that's not happening. I just can't see that happening. And it's cool. He does want to be in Kansas State, so I hope they reach some kind of agreement, but just doesn't.
They want him to be there.
Yeah.
They want him to be there for the right price.
Yeah. We'll see. They say that's the one of the first dominoes to fall, to see what happens with that. And obviously, Veach is getting asked about it at the combine. He knows he's got to do something in order to free up some more money for if we are to be able to sign our guy Orlando Brown for this lucrative deal, or maybe a tag, and also extend Chris Jones to give us more money, possibly, and give him a restructured deal, and also if we are going to be the ones to bring in DeAndre Hopkins at a $17 million a year price tag. I mean, there's so much. I could never be a GM. The whole money aspect thing throws me off so hard. I mean, just keeping tabs on all these things, man. It's wild to me.
Listen, look, Beach is probably sitting there saying, who's ever asking this question, like, hey, man, listen, hey, order your drink, relax, have a seat. Okay, we'll worry about this some other time. Okay, we're relaxing right now. We ain't fooling with that. We know where we know where we at. So.
Well, it's funny because he answered like in that quote. He said, this is a lot of what the combine is. We're talking to the agents and stuff. It's a lot about evaluating these guys, but we're talking to the agents and trying to bring these prices down and trying to bring the bargain down.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how everything plays out. And obviously we got the combine this weekend. So remember what JD said, guys. DT, DN, wide receiver. Those position groups he's looking at, and obviously DT, DN high up on the poll on the pedestal between those two and receiver. So look at those positions this weekend and report back to us on Twitter and let us know what you guys see out there. JD, that does it for us, buddy. Thanks for tuning in to Chief Concerns presented by BetOnline. We'll see you guys next week, and we hope to see what you guys think about the combine and who are the takeaways you guys saw. We'd love to hear back from you guys so we can talk about it on the show next week. Enjoy it.
We'll see y'all later.
All right. See you, JD. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.